Hi, I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Louise VanNatta.
And welcome to InSight. Our guest today is Marilyn Daily of Center 50 Plus. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Well, this is great. You're on some of our very early shows on InSight. And Center 50 Plus is one of my new favorite places.
Yep.
Am I eligible to go to Center 50 Plus?
Well, first, we don't card.
Oh.
But if you're 50 and older, we have programs and services for you. And whether you are 50 or you have a family member that's 50, we're really a community resource.
Well, I'm a senior, and I don't feel like one. So what are you doing now that's so different to make all of us feel like we're not seniors?
Well, you know, well, when does someone become a senior? That's the big question. We've been talking about that for years, and because it's such a funny word, people don't really put an age with it. We've just decided, let's just stop guessing what senior means and focus on what's really important, and it's really making the most out of that second half of our life. And so we define that as the halfway mark, because we're all going to live to 100, and that's 50. So the halfway mark is, here we are, what are we going to do with that second half? So you're right. The word senior doesn't really mean too much except for wisdom, and we believe in that. We're not losing the focus of that, but why put an age on it?
So, remind me where you're located again?
We are in our new building. We moved in 2008, clear out on Portland Road, 2615 Portland Road, right there on the corner of where Portland Road meets Silverton Road. It's very easy, right up I-5. You can take Market and zip, and you're right there.
It's a beautiful building, but what goes on inside it? That's what I want to know. And can anyone just drop in? Do you have to be a member?
We actually are an open community center with no membership.
Oh, fun.
And
Great.
you actually don't even have to live in Salem to participate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have participants that drive from Wilsonville, Albany, Corvallis, Monmouth, Independence, just a lot of folks that come in because we have some specialty items that are not available in their community. And so people from all over the region come to Center 50 Plus.
To do what?
Yeah.
What would we do there when Wendy and I head out to Center 50
I was
Plus?
say, we're heading out there.
Besides just really having a good time and meeting a lot of wonderful people, we have activities, programs, services, and activities that are especially requested for people that are 50 and older. So you're going to see health and wellness, lifelong learning, travel, opportunities to look at your career and explore new careers in the future.
Reinvent ourselves.
That's right. You know, I've said that before, that really our goal is to help people reinvent retirement.
Exactly.
Through rediscovery. You know, that whole process.
Well, how are people that come to the center now sort of announcing themselves? What are they telling you that they're interested in doing that's given you a new direction?
Well, you know, I think that what we're really seeing is folks that have retired or are preparing for retirement that have many gifts and talents of their own they want to share with others. So I think moving into lifelong learning both for themselves to rediscover things, but as well as sharing things that they know has been a really big growth area.
So I've seen pictures of the computer lab, right?
Yes.
And what interested me most was jewelry making, which apparently one can't always have wood shops and jewelry making facilities and art centers in their own home. So
and may not necessarily want to have
all
all
that
but they
there.
want to have it available to them, and that's what I see over there.
So they can go over. So I can go over and make myself a necklace in the rock tumbler. And
oh, come on, make one for me too. We have matching little set
there we
here.
go.
There
We'll
we
do
go.
it. And
That's right.
and a lot of exercise. Is that right?
That's right. You know, one of the things I was just saying is, you know, we're a regional center. And why are we a regional center? Is we have some unique programs. Woodshop and lapidary are very unique programs, and not very many communities have public lapidary shops for rock polishing and rock making things, as well as wood shop. And it's exactly what you said. As we have moved into smaller homes, we are cleaning out the clutter of our own lives. It's nice to be able to go somewhere where you have all those things that you can utilize when you want to. You don't have to pay for maintenance on it. You don't have to have cleanup afterwards. That you're able
Always
to
a
use the
plus.
specialized equipment without the, you know, both the investment as well as the responsibility. But the other is there are very talented folks that are running those programs, and so that peer model of someone showing what they have made is what encourages people to participate.
Go ahead.
I got to interrupt here because we have a video that you did. You were behind the whole thing. It was called It Takes a Lifetime to Get This Young. I want people to see it because it was really well done, and CCTV helped you get it out there so people could see it. So let's take a look at it, would you?
Great.
Very good.
I know, I love the way they aged, degressed, not progressed, but degressed to those kids.
Right, a little spin on the fountain of youth. Come to Center 50 Plus and you're going to leave younger, smarter, in better shape.
There we go.
That's right.
Well, we jumped off the topic of exercise, but what I had heard was that there's quite a great fitness facility and classes supplementing that, which include, tell me if I'm right, yoga, and I also saw fitness for people with different abilities. Like if you happen to be in a wheelchair or you happen to be recovering from knee replacement. Is
That's
that right?
That's what's so fun about that video is hopefully you saw that there's all sorts of shapes and sizes and physical abilities, and you can join at any stage of that process, and we're going to help you. But you're right, yoga is a very popular class, especially, and then also Tai Chi and some of those, anything that's really promoting balance. We do have a fitness center, a great cardio space, but you know, our fitness center is not for everyone. We have a very special niche. Our niche is to serve people that are getting back into fitness after a period of time.
Yeah. Or maybe even after surgery.
That's right. You'll see a lot of folks there that are rehabbing after knee and hip replacements, cardiac rehab. You know, they'll come over to us and we'll be like their first launch of a future fitness program. And so I think that's really important.
And they're with people that are actually undergoing the same circumstance that they're in, and they don't feel so alone. They feel connected.
That's right. And we are staffed all the time. One of the things I find frustrating in my own workout world is I'll use a piece of equipment, the next time I return I can't remember how to program it or something. That kind of, we always have someone there so that when you want to try a new piece of equipment or you want to step up a little bit and improve on what you're doing, there's someone there to bounce ideas off of and help you. So it's a very nurturing environment. You're not going to see people there bench pressing 400 pounds, but you're going to see people that are serious about their future health, and that means comprehensive.
Sure. Sure. What about, now, I have to ask about food, Wendy, because I know that they have quite a great kitchen there and have some surprisingly talented chefs. Is that correct?
That is correct. I will tell you, it's a good thing we have fitness at Center 50 Plus, because we also do a lot of food type of activities, and we're very fortunate. We have Salem Kaiser Meals on Wheels in our facility that operate the kitchen. That is actually under the umbrella of Marion Polk Food Share.
And that's a new development, too.
That is. So there's some changes going on in that program, but we are very lucky because we have Chef Steve Morton, who's oversight of the kitchen. He is, if you've been around our community for a while, he is
he's the guy.
they call him a culinary giant, and I believe it.
And he is, with a great sense of humor, and he knows how to work a crowd with food and with personality.
That is exactly right. So if you're looking for homemade soups, he had a dill pickle soup one day. I'd never heard of it.
I gag. It must be good, though.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I said the same thing. Dill pickle soup. Well, it's on, people are asking for dill pickle soup. So it's great, fresh food.
So that's almost like a little community secret. Over at Center 50 Plus, you can join and you can just drop in for a meal. Isn't that correct?
That's right. You can drop in anytime. Great. We love giving a tour. There's so many things for you to see. But you can check us out on the web. We're at www.cityofsalem.net/Center 50 Plus, or Google us. I looked at us the other day, Google our name, and boy, we were the top 12 Googles. So
Excellent.
Look us up, but most importantly, just come by. I think that if you're just driving by and you see that beautiful, very civic-looking brick building, you cannot get a clear picture of what's really happening inside. It's vital. People are talking and sharing and growing, book clubs, investment clubs, all sorts of, it's a hub. It's a real hub of energy, and unless you've come in and really done a tour, it's hard to explain.
Well, I encourage people to do that. Well, thank you so much.
We're so glad you came.
We've learned something today, really valuable and really reassuring.
Wendy, I'm taking you to lunch.
Yay!
Over at Center 50 Plus.
Right. Expect us.
That's right.
Steve, you're on.
Thanks so much for
Thanks
joining
so
us
much
again.
for joining
Thank you.
us today. So
who else are we going to be talking to?
Well, the next subject actually has to do with the center, because they have their offices there and they're a very important group, and I wanted to know more about them because the subject is difficult to talk about, Alzheimer's.
Oh, that's right.
And so, but I got to know them a little bit because they had this wonderful walk for Alzheimer's in September, and I went out there, and 1,000 people. Oh my gosh, there were so many families and kids there, and I thought we have to know more about this.
That's such an important issue in our community, and I'm glad we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, and
anybody who's dealt with caregiving or Alzheimer's, or have relatives or family members that have been suffered through that, will really benefit from knowing about the resources that we have in our community.
You know, they actually have been through this themselves personally. And
oh, wow.
And so I'm just thinking that they're the people that we need to talk to. So they're going to be our guests today.
That's going to be great. I look forward to seeing them.
Hi, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Louise VanNatta.
And today we're taking on a difficult subject, that of Alzheimer's. And with us today we have two guests able to walk us through it and give us a much better understanding. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
We have with us David Reinhold. He is president of the board of directors of the Alzheimer's Network. And Ruth, you are?
My name's Ruth Burrell, and I'm the secretary with the Alzheimer's Network, and I sit on the board of directors as well.
Let's just begin. There are some really tough statistics out there about Alzheimer's. Tell us about it.
Well, currently, Alzheimer's affects over 500 million people in the United States today.
500
Absolutely.
million?
That actually pencils out to about every 67 seconds, approximately every 67 seconds in the United States, somebody new is diagnosed with Alzheimer's today. It's a debilitating disease that affects memory, it affects thinking, cognition, speech, behavior, families, children,
Yes.
and it's just widespread.
So when we're talking about Alzheimer's, are we talking about one thing? What is Alzheimer's? I went to your website and took a little look at it, and right up there at the top it says, what is Alzheimer's? Obviously people want to know, is it more than one thing?
Well, Alzheimer's disease affects memory, and it affects people's ability to speak, think, their behavior, how they react to their environment. And more times than not, it affects people's ability to function cognitively, their memory. People that take care of them, their family members, they no longer recognize them. It's a dementia-related illness that, unfortunately, they don't have a cure for at this time. However, they can slow the progression of this disease. It is a progressive disease that gets worse as time goes on, that predominantly affects our elder population, age 65 and older. However, we are finding that up to about 5% of the patient population today that this affects are ages 40 to 50. So it is also affecting a younger patient population today.
Well, and what we've seen in our community is how difficult that is for the families.
Absolutely.
And how does the network support the families who are either working through a diagnosis process with someone in their life, or are dealing with someone in their life right now that they know has Alzheimer's?
David?
Yeah, we have several different programs. We have a monthly educational program. We have bi-monthly support groups. We have bi-monthly memory screening. We also have an annual symposium where we bring a guest speaker in, and it's about a 4-hour seminar.
Where is the Alzheimer's Network located?
It's located at the 50 Plus Center
Oh,
out on Portland.
right out there on Portland Road.
Yes, yeah.
That's great.
We're upstairs. It's on the second floor up there.
Oh, that's
great.
fantastic.
And do you hold your symposiums and classes all at that center?
No, they're out throughout the city of Salem
wonderful.
and
Oh,
other
that's
locations,
great.
Woodburn, other places. Yeah.
Great,
I
great.
want to know how you got going. How long have you been out there? Something like 11 years at least? What got it going? What made you decide to do this?
Back in 2003, there's another nonprofit in this area that served Lynn, Benton, Marion, Polk counties. That nonprofit was no longer able to serve this area, and they closed a local chapter. Several of us that were on basically a steering committee of the local chapter decided at that time to start a new organization, which was Alzheimer's Network of Oregon. And that was in 2003.
So how are you accomplishing your goals? How are you helping local families? I know we're going to be seeing a video in just a few minutes that people talk about how much it's meant to them to have that kind of support as they go through the process of living with Alzheimer's or living and giving care to someone with Alzheimer's.
I think some of the ways that we help the communities is through our outreach in the community, talking with local churches, offering workshops, resources. We are a tremendous resource to people who just don't know where to turn.
Talk about caregiving as far as you told me something before we started talking today about women.
Well, some interesting statistics that just came out, I believe, in March. Historically, we know that one out of every 11 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. For Alzheimer's, 1 out of every 6 women over the age of 60 will receive a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. Women today are at the epicenter of this disease. We are being diagnosed more with it, not to say that men aren't, but when you think about the disease and the life expectancy once you receive that diagnosis, either the woman is the caregiver for their family member diagnosed with this disease, or they're receiving it themselves. And we have to develop programs and support for family members, women, children, and the patients that are diagnosed with it themselves to help support them so that they can take care of their loved ones.
So you're working really hard to get that word out, because we're hearing more and more about Alzheimer's in our community and what resources are available. And I know you've been doing that through a lot of materials and events, isn't that right? So I know that Wendy was out.
I had a wonderful time. I have to tell you, I had the most wonderful time out at the Walk for Alzheimer's. It was out at Volcano Stadium. And what really impressed me was how many people showed up for your walk. I mean, how many?
We had almost 1,000 people that showed
Wow.
up. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It didn't even include the vendors. We had over 25 vendors that came there to talk about services that they could offer to people that are struggling or that are dealing with this disease at this time in their lives.
Why don't we take a peek at that?
Yeah, since I wasn't there, I want to see.
Let's see it.
what
Why don't we just go there? It was a wonderful time. And
Great.
people's had some wonderful things to say. Well, you'll see. Let's go.
Okay.
My grandma, Miss Walker, she has Alzheimer's, and like I used to have to go out at night and stuff with my mom and my auntie and like trying to find her. So I thought that I would try to do this for her and like get some donations. So I went into the office at Alzheimer's Network of Oregon, and I got some donation packets, and I went out door to door. I called my aunt asking what was he doing so I could like hang out with him. Then she told me that he was doing a fundraiser for it, so I went out and helped. And then I found out about the run, so I ran 3 miles. It was really hard, but I forced it off.
My husband was diagnosed 12 years before he passed away with vascular dementia. The last 3 years of his life, I was working full-time, had to hire a caregiver to come in to take care of him so I could continue to earn a living. During that time, I don't think I could have made it through the emotional turmoil without the Alzheimer network through caregivers. The caregivers need so much support and just getting together and hearing other stories so you know you're not alone.
I've been involved with the Alzheimer's Network since its inception, since its founding, and I do it because I think that I see time and time again families and individuals who are grateful for the support, who are grateful to have a number to pick up and call, to have an office to come to have a place they can pick up some resources, people they can talk to, and I think that people helping people is important in communities.
I love that.
That was great.
Great.
And those kids are wonderful.
Aren't they amazing?
Moshe
Yeah.
and Miranda.
Yeah, they actually came the night before the walk to our office at 4:30 in the afternoon and they saw a sign at Ross parking lot and they wanted to be part of our organization and want to know how to fundraise, and they were there that morning.
That's great. What a way to raise up the education of the community.
Yeah, and they
our
went door to
kids.
door.
That's awesome.
And I really got the feeling that they appreciate what you have done for their grandmother, and because it makes them understand what she's living with. You know, somebody said that it's a new way of communicating when you have Alzheimer, and people in your caregivers. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. You know, oftentimes we forget people with Alzheimer's oftentimes will lose their ability to communicate, and so you have to find ways to continue to break through to them or to be able to communicate with them, and so you have to learn new ways to do that. But you also have to support the family members and the children and the grandchildren because they're dealing with that loss as well of being able to communicate with their loved one.
If I was thinking about what it would be like to watching the show and maybe being at home and being concerned about a parent or a grandparent, or maybe even ourselves sometimes, and we don't
We
really
don't like
want
to throw ourselves
advertise
in the mix, but
that.
it's in the back of our heads.
What would be the first thing that I would want to do?
If you have concerns about whether or not you might be predisposed to Alzheimer's or you might be having some issues, I would recommend contacting our office and finding out when we have, or looking on our website, and finding out when we have memory screenings set up. That's one of the first ways and the first things that you could do to find out how you're doing.
So I could bring a relative down and to the screening, and there's no cost to that, and there's, is that true? And,
That's true.
And sort of get that process started to become educated myself on that.
Yes, and then once you have your memory screening, what they'll do is they'll give you that information, and then you can take it back to your primary care physician and you can discuss it with them. And then between them and the family, you can develop a plan going forward.
Sounds great.
How about telling us how people can get in touch with the Alzheimer's Network?
Well, there's two ways. I would call our office, which is 503-364-8100, or visit our website, which is alznet.org.
Alznet.org.
Correct.
I can remember
That's
that.
great.
Yeah.
I can too.
Thank you for being so
Thank you so
reassuring
much
and
for
being our
coming.
guests. Thank you.
I hope everyone enjoyed the guests today that we highlighted, and we'll have an opportunity to hopefully to see more. And if you like our show, encourage you to follow us on CCTV.
Yes,
it's CCTV Salem.
cctvsalem.org.
Or find us on Facebook, and we'd love your feedback. We'd like your likes. We'd like to hear who you'd like us to feature on our show.
Sure.
Or it might be you.
I like that idea.
All right.
Might be you.